Hi, everybody. I'm Savani,
And I'm Sabine.
and this is Behind the Byline, but it is our legacy edition. We're thrilled to be celebrating 100,000 Hidden Compass readers. And to celebrate that milestone, we've republished 10 stories from over the years across our departments and around the globe. One of those stories was written by author and filmmaker Paul Fischer. Thank you so much for joining us, Paul.
Thanks for having me. It's good to see you guys again.
It's good to see you too. So Paul's story, Gazawood Dreams, was published in our Chasing Demons department in our winter 2022 issue. And in the story, Paul journeys to Gazawood to meet a pair of Palestinian twins with impossible ambitions. Paul, I want to know what first inspired you to write this piece?
I was in a rut. I think, I was, before I started writing more full time, I kind of had ambitions of being a filmmaker, and I was in a rut and I was a bit spoiled, and I was prone to complaining about how unfair it was that it was very difficult not to just get a couple $1,000,000 to make a movie when you had an idea. And while I was in this rut and very grumpy, I heard about these two twins, Tarzan and Arab Nasser, who were filmmakers also in Gaza, and who were the opposite of a rut, who kind of worked from a blown out rooftop loft and made films with whatever they had available, and had never been in a cinema in their lives, but had sort of imagined what it would be. And we're sort of the exact opposite of the kind of poor me narcissistic experience I was having. So it was actually born in a weird way of a curiosity that was maybe a little bit selfish to start with, of, oh, these guys are fascinating, but there's also something here that relates to why people want to make art or create something, but that you kind of forget along the way. And it's in the most unlikely of places. And it's kind of only after meeting them that I kind of sensed out everything else that was going on.
We had our reasons for picking this story for our legacy issue, but why do you think a story like this and spotlighting a piece like this is important?
To me, it's part of what makes Hidden Compass really great to write for, because it's really rare to get to write these stories and to get to spend the time and to go discover something that obviously is relevant, but it's timeless more than sort of timely and hooked to one day. And it's human without being kind of the vacuous human interest. And in a lot of ways, the stuff these twins have dealt with, it kind of relates to political and social and cultural stuff that's been going on for ages, that's still going on for now. And they ended up being refugees, so it spans several countries and kind of a Venn diagram of things that people continue to talk about. But thanks to the way you guys do it and set it up, it's not your kind of thesis, counter argument, vague conclusion thing that we all usually do in 600 words, so someone can read it for free on a subway. But it's sort of an immersive experience of what it is to actually live through these things. And those stories are worth reading, whether you're reading them as they happen or you're reading them 5 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later.
It's certainly an immersive story. That's one of the things I love about this piece. It really just brings our readership and us into these places and with these people. And I love that you pointed out that it's timeless. It certainly is. And with timeless pieces, we can go back and revisit them, and our relationship to them can change. And we published this piece in 2022, which doesn't seem that long ago. But it has been some time. It has been well received. What is your relationship to it now, and has anything changed?
That's an interesting question. I think I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of, I went to meet these guys years and years ago, and I think it took a while of working through what that meant and where the focus should be about this story. And so it's rare that you read something you've written and you go, this is pretty good. I like this. And thanks to your editing and that sort of thing, I feel this way about this one. But also, it's had a really nice response from people, and it's kind of restored this idea of faith, because I think one of my concerns or worries with a story about these two guys was maybe people won't care, because it's not, it doesn't fit into certain of the boxes that people think where they go, oh, if it's a refugee story, then it's got to be about boats in the channel or people at this border or that kind of thing. And if it's a film story, it's got to be Hollywood and it's got to be this. And if it's a family story, then it's got to be that. And if it's a Middle East conflict story, then it's got to be about the conflict. And I think it was really nice and heartening in the intervening months since it was published to see that actually if people had the opportunity, there is an appetite to just actually walk a bit in people's shoes and experience the world from different angles, right? Because the way we all live life is we're at the center of this kind of circle. And of course, you can't see the stuff on the periphery that well. And stories like this hopefully kind of lift you up and put you in a different vantage point. And they're often treated like they're risky or like they're too demanding to people. But since this came out, it's been kind of obvious that it hasn't been, because there's been people from all places in the world, different backgrounds, different relationships to film or to the Middle East or anything, who've read it and reached out and said that they found certain things in it. And so that's really rewarding and enriching, because that's what you think you're going to do when you write when you're 12 years old. So that was nice.
I love that. This story has gone far and wide, and deservedly so. And so it has been wonderful to see it get its due, for sure. And to everyone who has been watching, thank you so much. We have relaunched the patronage campaigns that go along with these stories. So if you haven't read the story, even if you have another chance to contribute to Paul's patronage campaign and to support his work and the work that we do at Hidden Compass. So go check out the story, contribute to the campaign, and thank you for helping us reach this milestone of 100,000 readers. And Paul, thank you so much, not just for writing this story, but for giving us your time and talking about it with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for reading and supporting this kind of thing.